Hello, everyone. My name is Yongkang He. I'm a principal security specialist to support the region. So today, I'm very happy to be here to talk about secure your EKS containers with CloudCasa. So a little bit of myself, I'm heavily love Kubernetes, love multi-cloud. You might have noticed I'm 4 times AWS certified, 6 times security certified, and also 4 times Kubernetes certified. Let's get started. I guess a lot of people probably already aware when you talk about a cloud native security, it's all about the 4 C's. So it's a multi-layered security. Today, my focus is about Amazon EKS, which is running on AWS Cloud. A little bit of information about the CloudCasa. So CloudCasa is it's a company focusing on the Kubernetes data protection. So I came to know this company a few weeks ago. I tested the backup features. It's pretty cool. It is one of the best I tried across all different Kubernetes backup solutions. I actually was pretty much surprised. I did not realize the company also does the security. So that's why I also tested the security feature. So they talk about a security first approach. They are also well architected SaaS platform, basically to help improve the customer security posture against the sophisticated cyber attacks. So nowadays, the security cyber attack is everywhere. So some time back, my phone company just had a data breach, and my insurance company, yeah, same thing. You know, they got attacked by someone else, and so literally the cyber attack is everywhere. How we can secure the environment? So CloudCasa does provide the solution to secure your system access. That's the number one listed here. I'm not going to go through all of these. Secondly, they talk about how to secure your backup. Make sure your backup also secure. It's a last line of the defense. And the last but not least, how to secure the data infrastructure. For being able to provide the configuration scan, container scan, network scan, and also CIS benchmark scan. So talking about AWS well-architected framework, it's more about, there is an updated version, talk about 6 pillars. So on the screen, you can see security, cost optimization, reliability, performance efficiency, and also operational excellence. Did you guys know what's missing? There is another one, sustainability. Okay, so moving on, talking about Kubernetes, one of the very popular Kubernetes cluster, that's Amazon EKS, obviously running from AWS Cloud. So AWS and the Amazon EKS, actually, it's a very common combination running from the cloud. So today my focus is about how to secure your Amazon EKS cluster, how to secure your cloud. Listed here on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, that's how to secure your EKS Kubernetes cluster. So there are a lot of vulnerabilities or misconfiguration, or could be network threats. You might have the exposed, publicly accessible bucket. All of these can be done by the security scan capabilities, and then give you some remediation guidance for you to have, basically to have more insights to fix the problem before it is exposed. So let me start from the secure Kubernetes cluster. First of all, how I can secure my Kubernetes cluster. So there are a few key areas, part of the CloudCasa feature. So first of all, you can do the container scan. It does a scan for the vulnerabilities, scan your container images, scan your file system, scan if there is any configuration issues. Secondly, it does provide you the capabilities to scan your cluster-wide configurations. Maybe there are some misconfigurations, and also allow you to scan your pods, your Kubernetes controllers. It could be for example, like a replication controller or any other controllers. The third point listed here is a network scan. Your Kubernetes network also have the vulnerabilities inside a Kubernetes cluster. CloudCasa allow you to find the network vulnerabilities from inside a Kubernetes cluster. Last but not least, CIS benchmark is the basically trusted by the industry. It's kind of like a standard. So CloudCasa allow you to do the Kubernetes to do the CIS Kubernetes benchmark scan. So basically to give you some guideline, what's the problem, how you should fix it. Secondly, your Kubernetes cluster running from the cloud, in this case, running from AWS Cloud. So how I can make sure my cloud is secure. So being able to scan the cloud account, give you a score listed here, so you can have more confidence if my environment is more secure. And also you can have a quick view of the critical severity, basically how many issues found and how critical of the issues, how many issues we found, basically filled the scan, part of the scan job, totally how many jobs, how many scans we have done, and how many we found have the issues. So I won't be able to talk too much here. I will jump to the web console to show you shortly. So basically it covers all different AWS services and provide you some deep insights of your environment and also provide you the remediation guidance for you to fix the problem before it becomes worse. Before I jump to the web console, just to highlight that a few cool use cases here. So CloudCasa is talking about the Kubernetes cross-cluster cyber resiliency, being able to have the flexible recovery between cluster, or could be running from different storage. So for example, source cluster on the left-hand side, you might run it on-premises Kubernetes, or maybe you any other Kubernetes cluster from other public cloud or private cloud. So it does allow you to move the containers or to restore the containers to a different Kubernetes cluster. It could be from on-prem, it could be from any other public cloud, and it could be running all different storage. Yep. So it does support disaster recovery scenarios. Or for example, I give you an example. Maybe customer was running initially their Kubernetes EKS, Amazon EKS was running from a Singapore region. Now Jakarta region is available. So they want to use Jakarta region as a DR, for example. You might want to just do a one-time migration from Singapore region to Jakarta region. You can use CloudCasa to get there. And one of the cool things I really want to highlight is when you talk about a DR, typically, actually from my last meetup, I was talking about the EKS DR, but your EKS DR, you need to have the EKS cluster up running all the way as a standby before you can do the recover. What's very good about CloudCasa is a part of the restore. It allows to launch a new EKS cluster, which is pretty cool. So you don't have to keep the standby DR cluster up running, which obviously will be charged by AWS. Okay. And another cool thing I really want to highlight here is when customer, especially AWS Amazon customers, when they initially deploy containers, they're running Amazon EKS. What about the persistent database? Most likely they might use Amazon RDS. It could be any one of the database listed here, or MariaDB or PostgreSQL, MySQL, or SQL Server, Oracle, etc. But these databases, you also need a backup. So in addition to providing the backup for your Kubernetes containers, so CloudCasa also provided the capabilities to back up the RDS databases. So I know today our focus is about the security scan capabilities, but just to highlight, in addition to the security scan capabilities, which is built in, from the same dashboard, you can also protect your containers. and you can do the DR of your containers. You can do the application mobility or migration from one cluster to the other, or one cloud to the other. And the other best thing I love the CloudCasa is since it's a cloud service, managed backup service. So that means it's a software as a service offering. So you don't have to manage your control plane. You don't have to keep upgrade and maintain your backup software because it's running managed control plane. So CloudCasa help you to manage the backup control plane. And also they provide the backup, manage backup storage if you choose to. So you don't have to provision the Amazon S3 or any other storage for the backup. But if you choose to, it does allow you to bring your own storage. You might use your own premises, any S3 compatible storage or any other popular S3 object storage. So with that, let me jump to the next part. I really like to give everybody hands-on experiences. So now it's lab time. So how to prepare the labs? Pretty simple. So if you don't have an AWS Cloud account, you can follow the link here to sign up an AWS Cloud trial account. Once you have an AWS Cloud account, you can simply to clone the repository and then change it to the directory run eks-deploy. So I created the automation to simplify the life, how to use just one command to launch the Amazon EKS cluster. Typically in about 20 minutes, the cluster will be ready. And it also comes with the PostgreSQL database pre-installed. So you can immediately try all different scenarios. So you might want to do the backup or restore testing. You might want to do the security scan, etc. So once you have the Amazon EKS cluster ready, the next step is if you don't have a CloudCasa trial account yet, you might want to sign up a trial account. Here is a link. So it's very good, actually. They don't require any payment details, so you don't need to worry about your credit card or any. They don't ask you anything. Just ask your name, your email address. Pretty much that's it. And then you click sign up. Shortly, you will receive an email, and then you click verify. You are done. So once you have the cloud trial account, so all you need to do is you add a cloud account. Once you add an AWS cloud account here, it will automatically discover all of your Kubernetes cluster, discover all of your resources. Okay. So yeah, I know today our topic is about security. So how I can enable security scan via the CloudCasa? So you still need to have a CloudCasa account, which we already created. And you already added your AWS Cloud account. Shortly, I will log into the console to show you how to add a cloud account. It's pretty simple, very straightforward. Just one click, basically, you can add the AWS Cloud account to CloudCasa web console. And then all you need to do is you can install a lightweight agent to the Kubernetes cluster for you to run the security scans. Then the second step is to create a security scan job. So when you create the security scan job, it allows to choose two options. So one is, do you want to scan your cloud account? In this case, I might want to scan my AWS Cloud account. Or you might want to say, yeah, I also want to scan my EKS cluster. In this case, I was running from AWS. So if you choose run scan EKS cluster, we will do container scan, we will do configuration scan, we will do CIS benchmark scan, and also network scan. So let me jump to the console. I will show you now. So I log into, let me log into my CloudCasa web console. So the first time when you log into the CloudCasa web console, this is a dashboard. So you can see how many clusters you have or how many cloud providers I configured. So for now, I only configured 2 cloud providers. One is AWS, the other one is Google Cloud, but it does support Amazon, Microsoft Azure as well. So you might notice from the icon here. So the first thing, I can actually, let me show you how to add a cloud account first. So I click a cloud account on the configurations. So I already added this account. It's already showing active, but I just want to show you how easy, how simple to add a cloud account. You click the link here, add a cloud account. And you got three options, either AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. I select AWS, for example, click next. So all I need to do is just click a launch stack. So let me click a launch stack. So when you click a launch stack, it will ask you a couple of questions. So from here, for example, you got the cloud stack template URL, and you got the stack name, your CloudCasa account ID here. Do you want to allow CloudCasa to take an EBS snapshot? Of course. Do you want to allow CloudCasa to manage your EKS cluster? I said true. Do you want to allow the CloudCasa to manage RDS database? Do you want to enable the security scheme? Once you've done all of these, click a tick. I acknowledge this, and then click a stack, create a stack. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes, and the cloud probably less than 2 minutes. The stack will finish. Basically, just create the related rule policy to allow CloudCasa to access your cloud. Okay. So once you've done all of these, you click. Actually, let me click cancel this. I don't need to add again. So since I already have the AWS Cloud account added, so the next step is I click the AWS account. You can see I got one cluster here, but if I jump to my Amazon EKS Web Console, you can see I got 2 clusters here. So one cluster is I just created. How do I create the cluster? Let me show you. So go to my GitHub page. And you can see the first one is EKS Casa. I'm still work in progress, but should be ready shortly. If I click the link, you can see, go to the README section. You can see how to create a automate EKS cluster creation. You just log into Cloud Shell, and then you clone the repository, and then you run this command, followed by, do you want to deploy? If you want to deploy, just run one eks-deploy. Once you've done your testing, you can run eks-destroy to remove the environment. I also have some other videos to show you how to build an EKS cluster via Web Console if you choose to. So I already created my secondary cluster, endings with 042. And from here, I did not see the cluster yet. By default, they do have an interval to scan automatically inventory of the, basically to scan the cloud account to see what are the new clusters, or maybe some clusters was already removed. So if I go to the clusters page here, I do have some other clusters like Alibaba Cloud and also Huawei Cloud as well, also Google Cloud. So this is a cluster 851, but that's not the one I need. The one which I want to show you is from the AWS Cloud, and it wasn't listed here. How can I discover this cluster? So I just go back to the last step. So there is a run inventory here. So as I say, by default, there is an interval. It will automatically do the inventory. But for now, let me just run inventory. So once I kick off the run inventory job, so the job will basically to scan your cloud account to see what are the new clusters. So shortly you will see another cluster will be listed here. So the one which I'm carrying is the cluster ending with 042. So it's running 1.24, but it's in discovered status. It's not in active, but I haven't installed the agent yet. So all I need to do is click install. I copy the command, and then I'm going to run this command from my cluster. So the cluster which I created, actually, I was using my VS Code to create the cluster. So I need to run from my, let me show you, give me 1 second. Let me bring this here. Okay, so this is my Cloud shell. This is my VS Code. Okay, so from here, if I do get node list, so you can see this is my cluster. I got a 2-node cluster running here, but this cluster I haven't installed the agent yet. I already copied the command, so all I need to do is just run this command. Q control apply this YAML file, and shortly you will see the job finish. We're going to create the namespace. We're going to create the CloudCasa SA service account, and we'll have a deployment as well. So if I keep monitoring the port, you will see what's going to happen here is you can see CloudCasa-IO, that's the namespace. We're going to deploy an agent here, and it is in creating container creating. And shortly it will become in running status. In addition, I also have a PostgreSQL sample database deployed here. Yeah, looks like it's pending. Yeah, probably the PVC wasn't configured correctly. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Okay, so I am running this. Yes, ports will be initializing. Shortly it will be coming running and pass the readiness check. It will be showing 2/2. Yes, it's already running. Let me move this window. So now if I come back to CloudCasa Web Console, you can see installation successful. And the cluster 042, it's already showing active. Now, if I go to the cluster settings, you can see my cluster has been discovered, and agent has been installed. And this is the latest cluster, and it is running 1.24. So now, how to enable the container scan? So from the security tab here, I need to go to the overview tab, scan jobs. So basically the second step. So first step, I need to install the agent, which I already done. And the second step, you need to configure a scan job. So let me show you how to configure scan job. You might give a name, say scan EKS, and select your cluster, which cluster you want to scan. So what I'm going to scan is this one, 042. Once you make the selection, you're all good. Well, what if you want to scan your cloud? You just choose your cloud account. AWS for Yong1, that's my cloud account. So for now, let me cancel this. I just change my existing scan AWS. No, did I want to scan? Yeah, let me do scan AWS first. So I click this one. I already select this one, but what I need to do is I just run a job. So if I click run now, it will ask you, so how long you want to keep the job? So even the security scan, it's also a job. It will keep for 7 days by default. I click run. So what I did right now is just to kick off the job to run the scan, security scan of my AWS Cloud. What about my cluster? So I haven't scanned my cluster. My scanned cluster is A51. What I want to scan is the 042. So I click scan EKS, and then I change the cluster. But instead of changing the cluster, technically you can create a new scan job. I might just change my existing cluster and then select my new cluster name. And then, so if you enable send email report, once the scan job finish, you will receive the report, how secure your current cluster, okay? Click next, click run, you can schedule the job. Let's say I want to run the job maybe every 10 minutes or every hour, every day, it's up to you. But for now, I'm just leave it and manually run. Click next, run now. I want to keep 7 days, click save. So once you click all of these, you can see your job actually, it's already running. If I go to the dashboard, go back to the dashboard, under the activities tab, you can see I have 2 jobs running. So one is the AWS security scan, the other one is the EKS security scan. Once the job finish, you will see the scan results. Before I show you the scan results, let me bring back my VS Code window here. So you will notice while I'm running the job, you can see I have the scan pods scan kube hunter reports. The pod is just up running. And once we finish the job, you will see it will terminate the pods. So the containers will be dynamically launched when the job is kicked off. Once the job is finished, it will terminate the pods to save the resources, okay? So the job, it does take about 3 minutes to finish. So let me see what else left. Yeah, before I can show you the report, let me come back to my slide deck to see what else. So what I just did right now is I installed the lightweight agent. I created the scan job for Cloud Scan. I also created the scan job for my EKS Cluster Scan. So shortly, I can show you both of the reports from once the job is finished. So what are the typical use cases? So first of all, cloud security, Kubernetes security. If you're a security guy, most likely you will be interested in how to secure your containers, how to secure your cloud, how to secure your Kubernetes cluster. Secondly, the container backups, container DR, or application mobility use case. Being able to do the full recovery of your containers, granular recovery of your individual Kubernetes objects, or maybe you want to clone the container to a different namespace. You might want to move the containers from on-premises to the public or private cloud, or maybe you want to move back to on-premises. You might want to migrate the containers across a different Kubernetes distribution, different version, or different cloud, or different cloud. Last but not least, you might want to simplify the cloud upgrade, simplify the maintenance for your Kubernetes clusters. So remember, if you do in-place upgrade, sometimes there are a lot of surprises, especially the Kubernetes cluster keeps introducing new versions every 4 months. There is a lot of challenges. By doing the backup from your old cluster and then restore to the new cluster, there will be less surprise, more smooth when it comes to simplify upgrade and the maintenance. Bottom of the screen, you can see there is a playlist. So I also including a few reference links here. So my automation source code, the CloudCasa documentation page. And if you're interested, feel free to join my Kubernetes user group and also my Kubernetes data management group. Also, I have a group chat. That's a Telegram group chat. Feel free to join me. Yeah, in my spare time, I love automation. I also created the automation to cover other Kubernetes cluster. So Google, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Alibaba, and OpenShift on Azure, and also OpenShift on IBM Cloud, etc. I also have a playlist. I think that's pretty much all I want to cover from the slide deck point of view. Let me come back to the web console to see how it goes. Actually, my EKS security scan failed somehow. Let me show you the AWS security scheme first. So you can see the job finished just under 3 minutes, and there is an activity log to show you what exactly it does. So let me go to the security scheme page. I will go to on the cloud account scan history. So you can see this is my scan history for my AWS Cloud account. So this is the one it just running a few minutes ago. So if I click this history, click the scan name, you can see here is the details. So what are my general or my score, and how many issues, critical issues. I don't have any critical issues. That's 0 issues found here. How many passed? How many issues found? Failed. There is 1,002 failed. And if you want to check the details, you can view by the service. You can also view by severity. Yeah, this is probably more interesting. For example, for critical, I don't really have any security critical issues, but high, I do have 23 high issues. Click the details. Let me make it bigger. So from here, you can have a very good insight of visibility into your AWS Cloud. So the first one listed here, it suggests you what it says, a virtual MFA device was found for the root account. But based on the suggestion, you should have a physical hardware MFA device. So here is a link. If you click the link, it will pop up a screen, take you to AWS documentation page, how to enable a hardware TOTP token. Okay, let me check another one. Access key will found, the second one will found for the root account. Again, if you click the link, it will give you some suggestions how to fix the issues. So I'm not going to click all of these, but just to highlight there are quite a long list of the issues. Typically, you don't have much more visibility. By using the security scan feature, part of CloudCasa give you more visibility, more insights. Before the issue happens, you can fix the problems. So for example, the next one, you might want to restrict your TCP port to your known IP address rather than give everybody can access your 22 or port 22. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the lists. Let me cancel this one. Yeah, this is just a very good example to show you how you can have the visibility into your cloud account, how you can have the visibility to give you the details, the instructions, the guide, how you can fix the problems. Okay, you can also click the detailed view. On the detailed view, you can see all the details, basically why this failed, how you can fix these problems. So again, I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to fix the EKS cluster scan issues. It looks like the scan failed. Let me fix that. All right, let's continue. You might notice on the screen, my scan job, it finished successfully. If I click the job details here, so you can see it took about 3.5 minutes. The job completed the scan. And if I go to the dashboard on the security cluster scan history, you can see my latest job, it was 5:46 p.m. completed. If I click the job details, scan EKS, you will see here the details. It gives you some high level understanding of your EKS cluster. What about my container scan? What about my configuration scan? What about the CIS benchmark? How many jobs failed? What about my network scan? If you click the network scan of, for example, a container scan, it will give you some more details. A container scan, I don't really have any issues right now. But if I click a configuration scan, you will see you got the critical issues listed here. And on the right-hand side, you can click the details. It will give you some more details. What is the critical issue? If I make it bigger, you can see it's talk about a replica set snapshot controller. You have the privilege escalation, which should not be allowed. You should take a note of this and then fix the problems. Okay, this is one of these, and let me make it smaller again. And also there are a lot of warnings. If I click the details, you will have 27 warnings here. So on the screen, you can see one of the replica sets called DNS. You don't have the CPU limit, so which is supposed you should. And for the replica set called DNS, you should not be allowed to run as a root. And there are a lot of different stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to go through one by one. For example, containers should not have insecure capabilities. These are stuff, yeah, again, it's just a warning. It's not a mission that critical, but sometimes you might want to take a note to have a look to say if that's something you should fix it. Okay. And what else? A benchmark scan. So if I click a benchmark scan, you can see majority of these are passed, but there are a lot of warnings actually. So if you click the details, you can see here the warnings. Do you want to fix this? So yeah, again, I'm not going to go through all of these details, but that basically provides you some more details how you should for the benchmark scan. If you're not sure what you talk about, you can go to security.org. And from here, if you go to the page, download the CIS benchmark, download the latest. And from here, you just do a search. Yeah, they do support a cloud provider, OS, and other stuff. But if you click Kubernetes, you can download the latest CIS benchmark for Kubernetes, the latest version 1.6.1. It gives you some more details if you don't understand what you talk about. So go back to the dashboard. Yeah, there are 76 warnings. If you want to fix it, you follow the CIS benchmark documentation, and then you can fix it. So what about network scan? So I do have 22 high errors. So if I click the details, here is the errors. So for example, you should not run inside the containers, run inside the containers. And yeah, there are a lot of stuff we should take a look. So just make sure the environment is secure. All of these listed here are severity high. We probably should take a look at the second page. So one example here, again, attack could run an arbitrary command inside the container, which that's why it marked this as a high. So there are quite a few of these similar like this. Okay, that's about the network scan. And also I have 2 errors listed under container scan. If you want to go through one by one, you just click the details. What are the 2 errors? So not authorized to pull container image for the EBS CSI controller. The second one, core DNS, the system container image cannot be scanned. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I want to cover for now. The bookmark is for some of the errors. You might want to make a bookmark, and then all of your bookmarked items will be listed here. So yeah, that's about it. So in terms of the scan job, I already mentioned that not only you can scan AWS, Amazon EKS, you can also scan GKE or any other Kubernetes cluster. So let me go back to the dashboard. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to cover. Yeah, it's pretty. If you have a job fail, it will mark it as a failed. So you can easily to find to know if the environment is running correctly. So also alerts, it'll give you some more alerts because my previous security scan for EKS job failed. Let me come back to the slide. Yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about for today. Yeah, thank you very much. And I hope it is useful to you. If you need to follow me, here is a link. And feel free to join my Kubernetes meetup group, kasug.com. And you can also join my kasdm.com. That's Kubernetes Data Management. Thank you very much. Have a good one.